Hello. Thank you for joining me. Today is Friday, January 17th. It is 1:51 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and this is our second week of videos, our instructional videos. And today's video is going to be all about grounding, centering, and shielding. That is one of the most common questions I get asked: is how do I ground and shield and center? Um, it is not a very difficult process, and the more you work on it, the better and easier it will get. You will find it usually gets a little bit quicker to do also. So we're going to start with grounding. Grounding is taking energy within you and around you and sending it back into the earth to be cleansed, because we've talked about this before. Energy is energy is energy. Um, our intent changes energy, our presence changes energy, and sometimes we just need to ground energy because we're a little um, got too much energy going on. Maybe we're feeling a little upset. Maybe we're feeling lost. Maybe we're feeling angry, and we want to get rid of that because all that's negative and it will not help us. So the best way I can describe, and each person's going to have to figure out what works for them. Um, Again, I'm going to tell you a common way to do it, and then you sort of tailor it to suit your needs. But one of the best ways to do it is to close your eyes and imagine roots growing from the bottom of your feet. It does not matter if you're inside. If you would rather be outside to do this, that's fine too. Um, but imagine those roots growing from the bottom of your feet, reaching through the floor or reaching through the ground and growing deep into the earth. Then what I like to do is close my eyes and think about everything that's going on in my head. Think about everything that I'm feeling, everything I'm experiencing, and I release that energy into the earth. And what I do is, whether I have that energy coming from the head or the heart, is I imagine all that energy starting to flow downwards. It flows through my body and it flows through my feet and down through my roots. So essentially, I'm getting rooted into the earth. And I just let that energy go until I feel more refreshed, till I feel relaxed, till I feel more calm or in control of my emotions, or energies going on around me. It's a very simple process to do. That is one of the easiest ways I found to explain grounding to students. Um, if there's a way that works better for you, some people say, well, I just go outside and I hug a tree, or I go outside and I'm barefooted and I feel my bare feet on the ground. And that grounds me. And that's great. That's great. You don't have to go through a big process if it works for you. Some people will use water to ground. You can sit in a tub of water, maybe put your hands in water, maybe put your feet in water. Some people will use air to ground. Basically, what they say is they imagine the wind coming through and carrying away what they no longer need, the negative energies that they don't need, or the scattered energies. And then some people will use fire. They say that staring at a flame of a candle helps calm them and relax them, and they realize that they're grounded. So there's several ways you can do it, and that's great. It's no set way of doing things. Again, it's all about self. It's what works for us, and that's the most important thing. Centering. Centering is becoming one with you, becoming one with the universe around you. It is bringing all your energy into your center. It is a way of clearing thoughts. Um, Again, there are different ways to do this, and grounding and centering pretty much go hand in hand. So you can go through the process for grounding, and that helps center us. Some people say, I just need to be centered. I don't necessarily need to be grounded. How can I do that? And that's very fairly simple. Um, for me, I kind of imagine that I am wrapping myself up in an energetic cocoon. Now, slight difference in shielding because I'm not shielding from outside energies around me. I'm just taking my energy and bringing it back into my center. Some people will actually use meditations to do grounding and centering, and that works also. It's great. If you know what works for you, that's wonderful. Um, If you want to try something new, you might want to try it this way. And you know what? If this is not working and you're still having problems, drop a comment below and we'll address it in a future video. Um, shielding. Shielding is a way of protecting ourselves. Shielding is protecting yourself from outside vibes and energies, and you can also protect others from your vibes and energies. Um, I know, especially if you have someone who's dealing with chronic pain, when the pain can be a little too severe, it rolls off the body in waves. Those energy waves just roll off, and people around you can tell, they can feel. You don't want to um, send that energy out to someone that could absorb it and cause problems for them. So you might want to shield. If you're around negative energies in a public place, you may want to shield then. Shielding is also good in preventing us from catching these nasty colds and flus. And I mean, you can shield all you want to, but if someone sneezes or coughs and then you touch it and touch your face, it's already being introduced. It's broken through that shield. But we're in the season of flus going around, colds, that sort of thing. So shielding might be a very good thing to try and practice, and just to aid you and protect you. And with shielding, you have to figure out what's going to work best. Again, everything I do on these tutorials or the instructional videos, I can tell you how I do it. I can tell you how I've seen others do it, but then you have to figure out what works best for you. But shielding for me, I imagine, because I like to bake, I grew up cooking, and cheesecloth, I use as an example. If anyone is familiar with cheesecloth, you know it has those tiny, tiny little holes. And what you do is you use cheesecloth to strain. So when you pour your ingredient or your product into the cheesecloth, it holds the bigger pieces and the fine stuff comes through. The liquid will come through. And I kind of equate my shield to being a piece of cheesecloth. I have a history or a background in medical, and I was shown several x-rays through the years where cancer was evident. It was there. And cancer to me is a very ugly, it is very chaotic. When you look at the cancer, and the films that I looked at, and the cancer that I have experience with were films for breast. It was for women's mammograms. And you would see the cancer tissue was very uneven, and it was very jagged, and it was very ugly and massive looking. Okay, even the small size, it was dark, and you could tell it kind of took over. Now, I equate that to negative energy. Negative energy is like a cancer. The positive energy is more like the fine, rounded, smooth, light pieces that can slip through that cheesecloth. Does that make sense? So the negative is like the cancer. It can't get through the little bitty fine holes of the cheesecloth. Only the positive things can, because they're smooth. Okay? So I imagine myself being wrapped in cheesecloth. And I can do this not only for myself, but those in the near vicinity with me. I'll wrap it around them too if I feel the need to do so. And I do that for family, my daughter, my husband, my dog, my cat. So I wrap myself in this cheesecloth, and I am protected. That cheesecloth, I can even double it if I need to, if I'm feeling very, very vulnerable. And so I might do it a little bit more. Another way you can do it, and this is how I started out in the beginning, and as I say, I use the cheesecloth, I actually mix it with this other way, so you can find out if either one of these work for you, great. I imagine a cool, protective color. For me, that's blue. And I close my eyes, and in my heart, I just see that blue starting to radiate and starting to pulsate, and it's starting to get bigger, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And eventually, it flows out of my heart region, and it envelops me like a cocoon. Okay? Now, I did that in the beginning. I just did that and didn't equate the cheesecloth to it because I wanted to be completely shielded. But then someone posed to me a question many years ago. Well, if you're shielding, what about the good stuff? Are you shielding from the good stuff too? And I thought, very, very interesting. I never looked at it in terms of it could be keeping the good out. I was just thinking it was going to keep the bad out. So that's when I incorporated the cheesecloth. Now, when I see myself wrapped in the cheesecloth, I see it as that beautiful silvery, shimmery blue color that I used for my cocoon that I would wrap myself up in the beginning. And I just wrap myself up in it. And I know that all the positive can come in, all the negative stays out. I can share my positive with others because it slips right through that cheesecloth too. So those are some common ways to ground and to center and to shield. If anything is confusing that I've put in this video, please feel free to leave a comment below. Um, but they're pretty much straightforward. You have to figure out what works best for you. Is it going to be a visualization? Are you going to do it? The visualization we go through meditation. It's kind of a meditative state when you are visualizing that happen around you. To me, it is very similar to me meditating on it. And some people may forego all of the previously said things and just meditate to ground and center and to shield. And again, neither one is wrong. It's what works best for the individual person. So over the next week, I actually suggest that you practice your grounding and your centering and your shielding. And the more you practice, the easier and the quicker it will be for you to do so. Now, I hope everyone has enjoyed this quick little rundown on grounding and shielding and centering. And if you have any questions, like I said, please feel free to drop a comment. If you have not subscribed to this channel already, please do so. You'll get notifications. I try and upload new videos for instruction on every Friday. We try and get it up by 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You will also see in the comments if you would like to schedule a private reading, because I am a tarologist. Please feel free to email me. The email address is mariescuriousroots@gmail.com, and that is in the comment section as well. And you can just send me an email or find me on Facebook. We have a Facebook page for Marie's Curious Roots. You can leave a message there. Just say, hey, I want a reading. I'll be more than happy to get something set up. The what I call antiquated rates that I have not really gone up on through the years go up tonight after midnight Eastern Standard Time. But for the remainder of today, rates are $35 for 30 minutes and $65 for 60 minutes. After tonight, starting Saturday, January the 18th, rates will go up to $50 per 30 minutes and $95 for an hour. I also offer one-on-one or group teachings, and I do spiritual counseling, coaching, life coaching, that sort of thing. So a little bit of everything. If you feel so inclined to tip me for these little tips, tricks, and information, you can do so. You will find those links also in the comments. I accept PayPal. You can reach me at paypal.me/Tammy M. Trotter. Cash App at $Readings by Tammy. I also take Facebook Pay, Chime, and for my European friends, Payoneer. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope it helps out a little bit. And I look forward to hearing back from some of you on how your grounding, centering, and shielding is going. Until next week, take care of each other. Be kind. Practice compassion. It does not cost a thing, and it will make you change your environment, your outlook, your mentality, and in return, we change the world. So thank you again for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next week.